Alright guys, so it looks like the entire game has been spoiled and leaked before it even came out. However, I just want to do a more spoiler-free review of it today. I just want to go over several of my thoughts and I want to discuss with you guys whether I still think you should purchase it and anything like that. But before I get into the entire contents of the video, I want to discuss the VR playthrough I'm doing. So yes, for everybody that keeps asking, I'm going to be doing a full VR playthrough of Resident Evil 7 at midnight, and that's GMT UK time when it comes out. I'll be playing the game for as much as I can over the duration of a week, including normal and Madhouse difficulty and any other little extras or little fun things we can do on there. Everyone will be able to participate, and I'll have my Discord open, which you can check out in the description of every single video, and you can go there and you can suggest ideas for the video and other things for challenges, for example, and just come meet the community as a whole. Another thing to say about my VR playthrough is I've kind of spoiled myself on the plot of Resident Evil for the sake of leaks and spoilers and talking about this in videos and analysis and going over the plot, which I won't be doing in this video, remember it's spoiler free. But I've kept myself from watching anything visually as well as the actual boss battles and things. I've basically kept myself vague enough so that when I get into the actual boss encounters and environments, I'm not exactly sure what to do or what's going to happen, and I've kept myself from knowing some of the bigger reveals. So I'll have a more authentic experience and reaction to give you guys, and that's what I did it for specifically. From what I know as well, this game has a plot within a plot, and that's something I want to discuss. It seems like there is a main plot going on within Resident Evil 7. You know, the same main plot you'd expect in any movie or game where everything's given to you straightforward and there's a culmination at the end with kind of a credits and a complete story, with a little bit of vagueness in there for a little bit of a twist, so that Resident Evil 8 can come around nice and smoothly. But as one would expect from any Resident Evil game, there's an overarching plot which will probably tie into several other media that we have seen, such as the Resident Evil Heavenly Island manga, Resident Evil Vendetta movie, and Resident Evil 8 when that eventually comes to appear. And talking about that, guys, by the way, they did say they want the main cast to come back in Resident Evil 8, and if the first person view is received well enough, they would consider doing sequels with it. They've also announced that there's going to be some free DLC for the game. I'll get into that in another video, but it makes me happy that they're already supporting the game to this degree, because I think Resident Evil 7 is going to become one of the flagships of the series. You know, it's going to be like Resident Evil 1 and 4, a really true experience to remember. And when it comes to it, and people are like, oh, what are the most memorable titles in that game? I do think those are going to be the three main ones. And because 7 is such a flagship for the franchise, I do believe all the support they're going to show it and all the love they're going to put into it is very important. I'm sure everybody is looking forward to that and all the details around it, so like I said, I'll cover that for everybody else at a later time. From what I've talked to people, it seems like the boss fights are thoroughly satisfying and enjoyable. However, it does seem like the final boss can be done really easily and is unsatisfying overall, which kind of puts a dampener on the finale in the game. Now, I'm not sure the specifics on this either, but there are also apparently some moments in the game that are absolutely tear-riding, if you would. They actually get you feeling so much. I've heard the game does a really good job of that, and honestly that the plot is really going to pull on your heartstrings. I'm looking forward to what was meant by that, but it does get my anticipation rising so much. It is apparent, however, from people that have played the game that they have really invested into the atmospheric sound over the soundtrack. People aren't as satisfied with this soundtrack compared to previous Resident Evil titles. I haven't heard any of the soundtrack myself, but if people really do appreciate that, I think it is important to note for you guys. Also, the enemy diversity is located just mainly to the Bakers and the Molded. There are several forms of the Molded, and I'm getting conflicted reports on whether there are true zombies or not. People keep saying various things, so I'm just going to leave that up to speculation, as I don't want to actually watch the videos myself. But yeah, it's not going to be a very large amount of diversity. However, I am led to believe that the execution for the small diversity they have is incredibly good. Overall, most of the vibes I'm getting for this game are that people are absolutely hyped. The ones that have watched it mostly only spoiled a few hours of it, and they just wanted to play more and more and more, and I am honestly just Oh, I can't wait to play it. I'm really devastated that Capcom won't just release it a little bit early because of the leaks, but I can understand it's a little weird with all the retailers and communicating that all across to everybody universally. But I'm really looking forward to finally getting my hands to play that experience. And honestly, I just say if you're on the fence, watch a few hours of it before you decide and then go into it. The architecture of the Baker's house is a little odd. It will remind you of the Spencer's mansion, and I'm not going to reveal any plot spoilers, so if you haven't read into the plot spoilers or you haven't watched into it, you won't have any idea, but it gives you that vibe, let me just put that out there. And you'll get that from the doors that you'll see in the game and things like that, and the way the puzzles and crests work, but I actually appreciate that because like they said, they were going back to the roots, and anybody that played Resident Evil 1 will really get that feeling once again from this environment. Also, the ammo isn't as rare as people think, but that doesn't mean it's common either. I'd say the best way to put it is you'll always feel like you've got a magazine or a full clip and maybe a few extra bullets after that. But if you do spray and lose all your ammunition, you're absolutely screwed. So management is actually really important, even though it's not as rare as they were leading us to believe. The melee is actually somewhat good, with the axe especially being a good weapon. So you can kind of fall back to melee if you do run out of ammo, but again, it definitely is the least efficient option, and you're going to take a lot of hits if you try it, unless you get good at the dodge system. And yes, there is a dodge system in the game, and it's a little weird. When an enemy goes to attack, you have to crouch to dodge, but it definitely adds a little bit of finesse to the combat and allows you to more efficiently handle the enemies with a skill cap in between. But yeah, that's all I wanted to discuss in this video. If there's anything else you want to talk about, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be releasing more videos soon. Once the game's finally out and everybody's played it, I'll be releasing a podcast with my regular Discord circle, and we'll be talking over our various experiences with the game, and I'll also be talking about the plot, the connections to Heavenly Island, and going over all the spoilers. I hope you're looking forward to that, and if you enjoyed this video, as always, please leave a like and a subscribe. Thank you for watching, take it easy, and peace.